Let's face it, when this film was released, it was one of the most highly anticipated films ever until Avengers Endgame came out. And I've already done a video on that one if you want to go and check that out. But was this film any good? Well, let's find out as we discuss 10 things wrong with Matrix Revolutions. Matrix Revolutions is a 2003 American science fiction action film written and directed by the Wachowskis. The film carries on literally straight after the previous film in humanity's last hope against the machine empire. When the film was released, it only got mixed reviews compared to the other two. However, as time's gone on, it has been better received compared to the other ones. So what have I, Berryman, the nitpicking YouTuber, found wrong with this film? Well, let's discuss 10 things wrong with The Matrix Revolutions. Number 10, enter the Matrix. So, with all the hype around this film, there was inevitably a video game release. Now, did they do a video game based on the films? No. They did a video game that went alongside the films. In fact, it ran parallel to the previous film. So why is it on this list? Well, a lot of the things that happen in this film relate to what happened in the game. Now, if you hadn't played the game, you wouldn't have known any of this. Now, luckily, all the footage is actually now on YouTube. I would recommend actually go and watch the cutscenes because it does make up its own other film, and it's an okay film actually. But the fact that this film took a lot of references from that game rather than the previous film, it just made it like you were missing something, which isn't what you want when you want to watch a film, especially a film with this much grandeur behind it. Number 9, lack of the Matrix. So, out of all three films, this one, you spend the least amount of time in the Matrix. A lot of it takes place in the real world. You have that massive battle sequence in Zion, you have them getting there, the chase sequence, talking, getting to the machine empire, showing the machine city, but none of this is in the Matrix. In fact, the Matrix is literally in the very beginning and that cinematic climactic final battle between Smith and Neo. Other than that, the Matrix isn't really in this film that much. Number 8, Suitcase. So when Neo is actually trapped in the train station, he tries to escape by helping the machines. He picks up the suitcase. Originally they actually say, no. He went, oh, no, let me do this for you. So as he goes on the train, he gets knocked back. They leave the suitcase. Did you not need that suitcase? Did you want that suitcase? If you didn't want it, why bring it with you? It just raises so many questions. Granted, it's a suitcase, but it's important to the machines and they left it behind. Doesn't make sense really. Number 7, love. This actually follows on for something I said in the previous video, that Neo isn't really that observant. Now this time, he's surprised that machines are talking about love. Well, hang on a sec, what was that whole scene in the previous film where she wants to experience love? She wants a real kiss. She wants to make it feel that he wanted her. So why is he surprised that these machines are talking about love when he actually was involved in a love triangle in the previous film? Same again, Neo is supposed to be a super intelligent hacker that's quite oblivious and a dunce really. It's not a good look on your main character. Number 6, Stormtrooper Aim. So as Seraph, Morpheus and Trinity break into Merovingian's club, they're encountered by a load of bad guys who cannot hit a stationary target. Now, Morpheus, Seraph and Trinity had to hit moving targets. Hitting a moving target is hard. Hitting a stationary target isn't that hard. Now, the bad guys were all moving around, and quite a few times they go around the corner. Morpheus, for example, is actually facing the other direction. The bad guy lets off a couple of shots and then Morpheus turns and actually kills the bad guy. What the hell? Morpheus wasn't moving. You go around the corner, you have about a couple of seconds to line your shot up. They have Stormtrooper aiming on this film. These are supposed to be computer programs. Hell, if you put me on Call of Duty with an AI controlling my shooting, I'm going to get headshots every 5 seconds. Why can't a computer game, real computer game, actually kill you? Or was the difficulty setting set to mega easy? Number 5, not destroying the diggers. There's a lull in the Battle of Zion. Basically, they're trying to regroup, both sides are trying to regroup before the machines take another attack on Zion. Why not take that time to take out the diggers? If you destroy them, it's going to take them longer to repair. But you don't, you run and hide and tell the people off that just saved your docking station off. Why not, tactically thinking, attack the diggers, destroy them, really disable them? But no, you don't, you run away, leave them there, so the machines just give them some power, oh, they're up and running again. No wonder the humans keep losing. I'm not a tactician. John Joe, out of my friends, me and John Joe, when we play, he thinks tactically. He would come up with stuff like that. But no, this is why I don't play games with John Joe. Number 4, more EMPs. So, the biggest weapon against the machines is actually an EMP pulse. It shuts down everything electronically. So why don't you have more EMP landmines everywhere scattered around the pipes? Why don't you have them as defences around your dock? It could have slowed them down, it could have helped, but no. Now, I know the machines went through the ground, and that's why they had diggers, but they did go through cut sections. You knew which sections they were going, so you go along and actually set some EMP landmines. As soon as the machines get there, bang. While they're actually recouping from that, you go in and destroy them, put some more mines down. Then the machines are going to have to go away and dig another tunnel, but same again. There are so many ways Zion could have actually kept the war going for a lot longer, but no, they were quite happy to sit back and do nothing. Number 3, communication. So Neo's mission in this film is he's going to the Machine City because he can believe he can broker a peace. Okay, I get behind that. Now, as they approach the defences, why didn't Neo actually try and communicate with them then, saying, I only want to talk, let me come and talk, and then you can do what you want. Yes, granted, he's got an EMP, but it would only have damaged a small area, which the machines could have recovered from. Yes, there was a risk on them, but at least Neo still has the source code the machines want. So it's in the machine's interest to let him in and so they can talk. But no, Neo doesn't do that. He just goes gung-ho. Obviously the machine's defences activate, and then things go from bad to worse from there, which is also a bad thing, which is coming up in this video as well. But a lot of this could be solved by trying to communicate. Now, if he had communicated, the machine said no, that would have been fine, and the rest of the film could have carried on and not a problem. But just that act of trying, you are trying to build their trust, and going gung-ho straight at their defences isn't giving them much reason to trust you. Number 2, Flimsy Metal. So because of the attack I've just mentioned about, when they crash into the Machine City, Trinity, unfortunately, is killed. Curious to know how she's in the new film, but we'll wait until the film's released and then I'll discuss that then. So she's impaled by loads of pipes, which are flimsy and move. Now, I know they're props, but these props are supposed to be made to look realistic. Now, something I said about the first film is that Wachowskis spent so much love and attention trying to cover and make everything right. It's like they took the foot off the burner on these second 2 films. Towards the end, they seem to be rushing and making silly little mistakes, and it shows. There's not as much, from my opinion, there's not as much love and care and attention in this film like there was in the first one. The first one was the first child, the one you put all your effort into it. The middle child, you let do what is the one you're horrible to, and the youngest child, this film, is the one you let get away with whatever you want and just give them the leftovers. It shows in your filmmaking. Number 1, Jesus. Now, I'm not a religious person, but I understand the outrage with all the criticisms that Neo is supposed to be a Jesus come again. Now, These criticisms were in all three films. So for the purpose of these videos, I have ignored it for the first one, I have ignored it for the second one, but I can't ignore it for the third one, especially as there's so many references. One, when he dies in a cross. When he dies, the power comes out as a cross. Alluding to one thing is one thing, but actually showing it and say, yes, he's Jesus, that's too much. No wonder religious people really hated this film. Final thoughts. In my opinion, I will say that this is the weakest of the three. It's got the most explosions and it doesn't neatly tie up the stories and loose ends, but at what cost? You could have actually carried on. This should have been the final film ever, but no, to me, it's a case of we're just writing a film for a cash grab, and that to me is what this film is. At least with the second one, they still try to put their philosophies in. But same again, the philosophies about choice and free will, although it's mentioned, isn't prevalent. And I think this made the trilogy don't go out with a bang, but with a whimper. And it's disappointing, especially as it started so well, and in my opinion, it's gone downhill. Although, same again, there's some good action sequences, but the OTT, the fight sequences were way over the top now. They were brilliant in the first two films, but it was just a CGI mess in this one. And they were trying to copy, I don't know, Dragon Ball. It's the type of fight you see in them, but that's where you see those fights, not in a film like this. But once again, because it's done by the same people, the visuals still look good, the soundtrack still look good. It's just the story and the set pieces aren't as engaging as the previous two films. So as a result, I'm actually going to give this film a 6 out of 10 berries. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. But that's my opinion. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below with what you think and your score out of 10. On to next week. Because there is another film coming out around about Christmas that I'm really looking forward to, and that's the Spider-Man films, we're going to go back and look at the first Spider-Man film that actually flopped. Want to know what I mean? Come back next Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.